Before the Champions League nights, the Premier League goals, and the iconic left-foot screamers, before he became the Egyptian king, Mohamed Salah was just a small-town kid with an oversized dream. Born on June 15, 1992, in Bassioun, Egypt, Salah wasn't surrounded by luxury or football academies. Instead, he grew up playing barefoot on dusty streets, idolizing legends like Zidane, Totti, and the Brazilian Ronaldo. Every kid who played football has tried that famous R9 step over at least once, right? Salah was no different. He spent hours pretending to be his heroes, reenacting their skills with his friends and his brother. Though, according to Mo himself, his brother wasn't exactly a footballing prodigy. But one friend saw something special. He told Salah, "One day you're going to be a big player." That friend is still in his life today. But here's where Salah's story starts getting crazy. By the time he was 14 years old, he was no longer just playing for fun. He was already on the path to professional football. He signed for Arab contractors El Makaloun, a well-known club in Egypt. But there was a small problem. It was in Cairo. And if you know anything about Egypt, you know Cairo isn't exactly around the corner from Bassioun. We're talking a 4 to 4.5 hour journey each way. 5 days a week. That's 9 hours of travel a day just to train. And it wasn't a smooth ride either. This wasn't a direct train with Wi-Fi and a comfy seat. Salah had to switch buses up to 5 times just to get to practice. For the next 4 years, he lived a life that would break most people. 5 days a week, he would leave home for school at 7 a.m., then leave school at 9 a.m., transfer through 5 different buses, arrive at training at 2:30 p.m., train for a few hours, and then make the brutal journey back home. By the time he got back, 10 or 10:30 p.m., then eat, sleep, repeat. No social life, no time for anything else, just football. Now, I don't know about you, but most 14-year-olds would have given up. The travel alone was brutal, but Salah, he never complained, just kept going, because deep down, he believed. He didn't know if he'd make it, but he wanted it badly. And the craziest part, he wasn't even some teen prodigy with a clear path to stardom. There was no next big thing label on his name. He wasn't some wonder kid being chased by Europe's biggest clubs. He was just a skinny kid from a small town hoping his talent and hard work would be enough. At 16, things started to change. He made his first team debut for Arab contractors, and suddenly, the dream started looking real. This wasn't just some kid playing on the streets anymore. He was playing against men, proving himself in Egypt's top division. But even then, he was still scared. Scared that maybe, just maybe, he wouldn't make it. That he had given up so much, sacrificed school, friendships, and normal life, only for it to lead nowhere. But here's the thing about Salah. He doesn't give up. And this was only the beginning. For years, he kept grinding, and at 16 years old, something clicked. He broke into the first team at Arab Contractors, and suddenly everything felt real. Now, this wasn't just a kid with a dream anymore. He was playing against grown men in Egypt's top division. The sacrifices were starting to pay off. But even then, he had doubts. What if this was as far as he could go? But football has a funny way of rewarding those who refuse to give up. And for Salah, the big break was just around the corner. Because soon, he was about to get an opportunity that would change his life forever. One that would take him beyond Egypt and put him on the path to superstardom. You know that saying, hard work pays off? Well, for most people, it's just a motivational quote on a gym wall. But for Mohamed Salah, it's the story of his life. And his first stop? Switzerland. In 2012, Salah got to play in a friendly match between Egypt's U23 team and Swiss side FC Basel. Now, this wasn't some high-stakes tournament, just a simple friendly, but for Salah, this was the moment he'd been waiting for his entire life. He tore Basel apart, scoring twice and running their defense ragged. The Swiss club saw enough in 45 minutes to know they had found something special. I will never forget what I saw that day on the pitch, Hausler recalled years later. It was cold, but he was amazing. He only played the second half, but I had never seen a player with so much speed. And he wasn't the only one impressed. Philip Degen, a former Liverpool player who was in the Basel squad, remembers it clearly. It was the first time I saw him. I was immediately struck by his speed. High speed is the only thing that nobody can defend against, and he had it. That was all Basel needed to see. They signed Salah the very next month. But let's be honest, raw talent doesn't always mean immediate success. Salah had the speed, but his technical skills, they needed work. And whenever he felt like giving up, the words of his friend telling him that he would be the best player in the world echoed through his mind, and he decided to put in the work. Salah wasn't thrown into the deep end right away. Basel took their time with him. In his first season, he was often used as an impact sub, brought on late in games to terrorize tired defenders. But by his second season, it was his team now, but he announced himself to the world with some electric performances in the Champions League. And guess who he scored against? Chelsea, twice. Yeah, the same Chelsea that would end up signing him a year later. But here's where the story takes a little detour. Because if you think Salah's journey was all smooth sailing from here, nah, life doesn't work like that. The tragedy. When Chelsea came calling in 2014, it felt like Salah's dream was finally coming true. He was moving to one of the biggest clubs in the world, playing under Jose Mourinho alongside legends like Hazard, Drogba, and Lampard. Except he barely played. He was too raw, too skinny, and let's be honest, Mourinho wasn't exactly the most patient guy when it came to young players. Salah spent most of his time warming the bench, and by the time Chelsea shipped him out on loan to Fiorentina in 2015, it felt like his European adventure was already falling apart. Now, this is the part where a lot of players would have faded into obscurity, gone to some mid-table team, made a decent career, and disappeared from the spotlight. But Mohamed Salah? He's built different. When Salah touched down in Italy, something clicked. Maybe it was the slower pace of Serie A. Maybe it was the sunshine after freezing his toes off in England. Or maybe, just maybe, he finally found the place that believed in him. At Fiorentina and later AS Roma, Salah transformed into an absolute beast. He bulked up, got faster, started banging in goals like a man on a mission. By the time Roma made his loan move permanent, Salah wasn't just good, he was one of the deadliest wingers in Europe. He racked up 34 goals and 24 assists in 2 seasons, and suddenly every big club was watching him again. And that's when Liverpool came knocking, the glory. By 2017, Liverpool needed a star. They had the pressing, the energy, and the exciting attack, but they were missing one piece. Someone who could add pace, goals, and that extra spark in the final third. And Jurgen Klopp, he saw exactly what Salah had become. Liverpool broke their transfer record to bring him back to England, and some people laughed at it. Wait, isn't he the guy who flopped at Chelsea? Is he really worth that much? Another one-season wonder? Oh man, how wrong they were. Salah didn't just prove the doubters wrong, he obliterated them. In his first season, he scored 44 goals in all competitions. 44! That's not just good, that's legendary. He broke the Premier League single-season scoring record, won the Golden Boot, and took Liverpool to the Champions League final. This wasn't just a comeback, this was a revenge tour. The kid who once switched 5 buses just to get to training? The guy Mourinho didn't believe in? The player Chelsea let go? Now he was the best player in England, and this was just the beginning. But before we continue this video, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel as this would help. Thank you, and now back to the video. The 2018-19 season was proof that his meteoric rise wasn't a fluke, but the beginning of an era. After signing a new long-term contract with Liverpool in July 2018, he wasted no time proving his worth. His first goal of the season? Just 19 minutes into the opening match against West Ham. Business as usual. But this season, Salah wasn't just chasing individual accolades. He had unfinished business in the Champions League. By October, he was already setting records, becoming the fastest player in Liverpool history to reach 50 goals. A feat that took legends decades. Salah did it in 65 games. But he wasn't done breaking records. In December, he bagged a hat-trick against Bournemouth, fired Liverpool to the Champions League knockout stages with the crucial goal against Napoli, and by January, he had his 50th Premier League goal, reaching that milestone faster than almost everyone in history. This was no longer a comeback story, this was domination. Liverpool were flying and Salah was leading the charge. The Reds stormed through the Champions League knockout rounds, and despite missing the semi-final due to injury, Salah returned in time for the biggest match of all, the final against Tottenham. Less than 2 minutes into the game, he stepped up to the penalty spot. The weight of the city's dreams, the pain of the previous year's final, the expectations of millions, it all rested on his shoulders. And with ice in his veins, he smashed the ball past Hugo Lloris. Liverpool were on their way, and by the final whistle, Salah was a European champion. The boy who once switched 5 buses just to get to training was now standing on the biggest stage in club football, lifting the Champions League trophy. And he wasn't just a part of it, he was the reason they got there. But if you thought that was the peak, Salah had other plans. The 2019-20 season saw Salah and Liverpool go from contenders to an unstoppable force. Liverpool stormed through the Premier League, and Salah was instrumental, scoring crucial goals against Arsenal, Manchester City, and Manchester United. By the time the league was suspended due to the pandemic, Liverpool were miles ahead of the competition. When football resumed, it was just a matter of time. On June 25, 2020, Salah and Liverpool were officially crowned Premier League champions, the club's first league title in 30 years, and fittingly, it was Salah's goal against Crystal Palace that all but confirmed their triumph. The following season saw Salah maintain his incredible form. In 2020-21, despite Liverpool's struggles with injuries, Salah still managed to score 31 goals in all competitions, dragging the team to a third-place finish and ensuring Champions League qualification. Then came 2021-22, arguably one of Salah's finest seasons. He won the Golden Boot again, shared with Son Heung-min, and became the first player in history to score on the opening day of 5 consecutive Premier League seasons. He led Liverpool to an FA Cup and EFL Cup double, playing a crucial role in both finals. Though Liverpool fell short in the Premier League and Champions League, Salah's brilliance was undeniable. He was named PFA Player of the Year and FWA Footballer of the Year. Even in the seasons that followed, Salah continued to break records. He became Liverpool's all-time leading scorer in the Premier League, surpassing Robbie Fowler. He reached 200 goals for the club and showed no signs of slowing down. From a young boy traveling hours just to play football in Egypt to a global superstar rewriting the history books, Mohamed Salah's journey is one of resilience, talent, and sheer determination. And with every season, he continues to prove that he is not just a legend of Liverpool, but one of the greatest footballers of his generation. And just when you thought Salah had done it all, the 2024-25 season came along. Right from the start, he was rewriting history again. Opening day, another goal, making him the outright record holder for most goals scored on Premier League opening weekends. That was just the beginning. By October, he had surpassed Didier Drogba as the highest-scoring African in Champions League history. A month later, he became the first Premier League player ever to score and assist in 37 different matches. And by Christmas, he had 15 goals and 11 assists. No one in Premier League history had hit double digits in both before Christmas. Then came January and February, when Salah just kept stacking milestones. He became Liverpool's 4th highest all-time scorer, the 2nd highest foreign goal scorer in English football, and only the 5th player to register at least 15 goals and 15 assists in a single season. Oh, and he also became the first player in Europe's top 5 leagues to hit 50 goal involvements for the season. I mean, is there a Liverpool without Salah? That's a question on everyone's mind. Season after season, he's been the engine, the spark, the difference maker. From clutch goals to record-breaking assists, he's carried Liverpool through highs and lows, turning good seasons into great ones. Even in 2024-25, when debates about his contract swirled, he let his feet do the talking, smashing records and proving he's still irreplaceable. But will all of this finally earn him the Ballon d'Or? With 50-plus goal involvements, a historic season in the Premier League, and possibly more silverware on the horizon, Salah has a serious case. If Liverpool goes all the way in the league or Europe, the football world might have no choice but to give him what many believe he's deserved for years, becoming the small-town boy who won the Ballon d'Or. Thank you for watching this video, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel.